Joining us for a little bit this morning is Shreveport Fire Chief Scott Wolverton. Hey, Mr. Scott, how you been?
I'm good. How you doing, Robert?
You know, I saw it again last night. There's this, I think it's a Subaru commercial, and it shows 2 or 3 little segments where these teenage drivers have wrecked their dad's car. And it happens to be a Subaru, so they're okay because they're pushing the safety angle. And the kids are sitting in the car and their cell phones going, Dad, we had a little mistake. When a fire truck
tumps over
or 2 tip over, what exactly is that phone call like when they call the chief's office and tell you what happened?
First of all, you never want to receive those phone calls. But if you look across the nation in the fire service, these things do happen. Typically, we've been blessed in Shreveport that we haven't had a lot of incidents like this because we try to be as safe as possible and ensure our drivers are well trained. Why this has happened, 2 days in a row or 2 within 3 days is one of those things that we're trying to look at and determine, what were the causation factors, and so we can put some lessons learned and preventative measures in place to prevent it from happening again.
So what have you learned so far, and what is the process of investigation?
Well, the process of investigation is still ongoing on both accidents. We've enlisted the help of Shreveport Police Department's Professional Accident Investigation Unit. They're assisting us with some of the determinations that they're able to make with what they've been trained to do at their level that we're not trained to do as it relates to length of skid marks and things like that they know how to measure and make those calculations. So we're using that resource. We're using our resources that we have on the truck that measures data and things like that. So right now we're looking at anything from, in the investigation process, was there any type of mechanical failure all the way up to was there driver error involved. So we want to do a thorough investigation to make that determination, what are those causation factors. And both those processes are very preliminary right now.
Can I ask you, have y'all changed anything with regard to you've gone to a different kind of tire or different kind of suspension settings or anything like that?
No, ma'am. There's been no change at all. The Truck 8 is a 1998 model Ferrera apparatus, and the engine last night is also a Ferrera apparatus. It's actually a newer model. I don't know the exact model year on it, but it's actually a little bit newer model.
Have you changed anything about how they're loaded?
No, ma'am. Load factors have not changed. There's been no change in as far as weight distribution on the truck, types of tires, mechanical, anything like that.
Cost of the truck, Mr. Scott, is about what, like $500,000 a piece in that range?
An engine right now, that engine when we bought it in that ladder truck and that engine when we bought them in the 90s and early 2000s did not cost as much. But right now, a brand new engine company would probably cost you anywhere from $450,000 to $550,000, and a ladder truck is going to cost you anywhere from $700,000 upwards to $1 million, just depending on all of the available options that you have in putting on them.
So what does the insurance company say? Where do you take it for repair? Who does that kind of stuff? What do you do with the trucks now?
Well, we do have our trucks insured, and there are professional companies here in the city of Shreveport that we use to do repairs that we contract with, and also with our the actual vendor that made the truck. They do some repairs for us too, and warranty work. So once we get to that point, those things will be taken care of. Right now, my main thing is, number one, that the men the firefighters that were on the truck, there's been no major injuries or death, and so that's one thing I'm counting my blessings right now on, and thanking the Lord that did not occur.
The trucks aren't totaled, though. They're not totaled. The trucks aren't totaled, are they? I mean, they're repairable.
Aaron, I don't know that right now. We haven't got an estimate on the damage on either one of them yet from an adjuster. So right now, I don't know what where that's going to be at.
We're talking to Chief Scott Wolverton, Shreveport Fire Department. Let's pretend like you're in a room with all of your drivers today. What do you say to them today?
Main thing is to reflect back on your training. Always stay vigilant. Always drive. We always teach our drivers to drive defensively. All of our drivers go through professional driving courses, professional training. It's just one of those things to be mindful of where you're at, have your situational awareness always available, and be mindful and drive defensively on the road. When we drive with the lights and sirens on, that doesn't give us the right to just do what we want to do. We still have to drive with due regard for all others on the road, and that's what we teach our drivers to do. So that would be my message to them is to reflect back on your training, use your training, be as safe as possible. If we don't get there, we can't help, and if something happens while we're en route to an emergency, to us, we become part of the problem, and we can't help the problem that we're being called to do. So that would be my message to them.
What kind of discipline, could be taken against the drivers if they're found to be at fault?
Well, Robert, I'm not going to discuss any disciplinary matters. Those are, being that it's civil service, those are confidential matters and personnel matters that remain confidential unless the member is disciplined and they choose to appeal to the Civil Service Board. So right now, I'm not going to discuss any disciplinary matters as relates to that. I can tell you this: we will investigate both accidents thoroughly, and we'll address based on what are the facts findings from those investigations on both of these accidents.
You've been on the department, we both know, a long time, and you've seen just about everything there is to see. Based on your experience, do you understand how these kind of things could, in fact, happen sometimes?
Oh, yes, that's what I was telling you a while ago. If you looked across the fire service nationally, you see a lot of this occurring across the country, in response to vehicles. And those vehicles are very heavy. An engine company probably weighs anywhere from 30 to 40,000 pounds. Plus it has a water tank on it with 500 gallons. Just take 500 times 8. That's a lot of weight in water that can shift. So that's one of the things that we train our drivers on is being able to manage that weight as they're driving down the road and making those maneuvers as they need to maneuver it. So, for two to happen right now, it's not common. Especially in the city of Shreveport, because we have not had this happen in a long time. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I'm only aware of one other incident in my career where a truck did overturn, and that was actually an ambulance.
Yeah, I was
so this
thinking.
is not something that occurs very often.